What's going on, everybody? That's right, it's me, Willie Friday. So, working on a 3-part series here about 2019 and 2020. And the first part of the series was what I've learned, because 2019 has been really crappy. So just to recap, in case you guys didn't get a chance to check that video out, the 3 things that I've learned from this year are: learn how to forgive. Number 2, don't take anything for granted. And number 3, the 3 greatest resources in this universe, which are love, loyalty, and time. Go back and check that video out if you haven't. The second video about 2019, 2020, the new year, if you will, I want to talk about why we look back. And this year really sucked for me. I've said that in the last video. I've said that many times this year, that this year sucked. If you know me, then you know I don't celebrate the new year. So this is a special occasion for me. That's how bad this year was. I don't celebrate the new year. My new year usually starts on my birthday. I usually celebrate my new year on my birthday, and I usually celebrate my birthday in the summer. And I'm going to celebrate again the new year on my birthday, but I felt like 2019 was so bad, and it was so much that I learned. I had to do a video today to commemorate that, to honor that, to show God, to show the universe, to show my followers, to show everyone out there that I appreciate the lessons that I have learned, and I will take them forward, and I will not make the same mistakes. And that's why we look back. In this last year, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm on my 5th job. This is job number 5 for me in 2019. I went through 5 jobs. Okay, some of them I left by choice. Some of them I left before they made me leave. I'm just being real. I'm just being honest. Sometimes you can see the writing on the wall, like, oh, you're about to fire me. So, I went through 5 jobs. I went through 2 cars, and I no longer have a car. I am now on the bus or the public transportation, and I ride my bike wherever I can. I had a lot going on with my family. I'm not going to put their business out there. I'm just going to say, thank God everybody is alive and healthy right now. And I had a lot going on with myself. Nothing that I want to make extremely public by going into detail. Just know that God's still working on me. And I know I'm not perfect. And I'll leave it at that. So that was to sum up a little bit of the things, or some of the things that have happened in 2019 that have made 2019 a really crappy year. And again, I could go into a lot more detail to make it a lot much worse, but out of respect for the people that are involved in it, and out of respect for your time, I'm not going to. But the question is not what happened. The question is, why do we look back at it? Why do we look back at mistakes and bad things? Why do we look back at things that we don't like that happened to us? Why do we look back at evil and misdoing? Why do we look back? Is it to complain? Is it to be like, oh, it used to be good before this time, to mark it? The reason we look back is to see what we learned from it. And that's what the first video was about, is about what I learned. This video is to tell you that you need to learn. You need to learn something from every mistake that you make. You need to learn something from every mistake that someone else makes. Never be so high up or so detached from the world that you look at somebody else and you say, I'll never make that mistake. I'll never do that. I don't know how they could be so stupid to think that would work, you know? Always be looking at it from their view. Something somebody told me a long time ago that I take with me to this day is that a good leader puts himself in the positions of other people before he acts. So before you make a decision, or before you make a judgment, before you make a call, you put yourself in the other person's foot, in other person's shoes. You put yourself on their side and try to look at things from their view. And that should be the same thing whenever you see somebody doing something that, is looked at as a mistake or taking a loss. What can you learn from their mistake? And that's why we look back on 2019. That's why we look back on the year before, and we calculate and we categorize and we try to figure out, was it a good year or was it a bad year? Was it lessons or was it blessings? And was it a mixture of both? Because it's never going to be all of one or all of the other. So 2019 did suck, but at the end of the year, I'm going into it very blessed. I'm going into it very, very blessed and very, very hopeful. Very, very hopeful. Remember, when you look back, always look back to see what you learned and what you can apply moving forward. All right, guys. So that's going to be number 2. First video was about what we learned. The second video was to remember that we need to learn. And remember also, the reason I put what I learned first and that you need to learn second is because I feel like we learn stuff and then we forget it. So this is not only that we need to learn, but we need to remember what we learned, and we need to apply it to our future knowledge. Don't pass the test, get the certification, and then stuff it in a drawer and never go back and restudy the material. You should constantly remind yourself what you learned, constantly be practicing your technique, honing your skills. This is once you stop riding your bike, that's when it gets harder for you. Once you stop working out, that's when it gets harder for you. You stop sewing, it's harder to learn how to sew. You stop cooking, it's harder. You have to continue to practice, to hone those skills. And look out for the third video. There'll be another third video for this, and we'll go ahead and we'll wrap up to 2019, and we'll look forward to 2020. And as always, remember, endure, believe, and rise.